Good morning. Welcome to Raaonline. Today's class is about palatine tonsil. So the competency related to palatine tonsil are to describe the morphology, relations, blood supply and applied anatomy of palatine tonsil, and to describe the anatomical basis of tonsillitis, tonsillectomy, adenoids and peritonsillar abscess. Now let's see about palatine tonsil. The palatine tonsil is a paired lymphoid structure. It is almond shaped. This palatine tonsil is derived from lateral group of Valdeir's ring of lymphoid tissue which encircle the commencement of the digestive as well as respiratory system. Here inside the oral cavity, you can see two bulged structures in the lateral wall of the oropharynx. So this is the palatine tonsil. It is situated in a triangular fossa of the lateral wall of the oropharynx and it lies between two pillars, anterior pillar and posterior pillar. The anterior pillar is called, here you can better see, which is closer to the tongue, is the palatoglossal arch. The posterior pillar is called palatopharyngeal arch. A portion of the palatopharyngeal arch is visualized. This is the palatopharyngeal arch. And this is palatoglossal arch. This diagram shows the location of palatine tonsils. So this is a sagittal section of the skull where you can see this is the auditory tube, opening of the auditory tube. This is the soft palate. This is auditory tube opening and this is the soft palate. So just below the soft palate, you can see an almond-like structures. This is the palatine tonsil. So this is a sagittal section and this is a coronal section of the pharynx. You are viewing the pharynx from posterior. So this portion till this is the nasopharynx. Here this is the soft palate. So just closer to the soft palate you can see a bulged structure on either side which is located in the lateral wall of the oropharynx is the palatine tonsils. So now let's see the size variation of the palatine tonsil as the age advances. In the first 1 to 5 years of age, the size increases and it reaches the maximum size at puberty. The average vertical length of the palatine tonsil is around 20 to 25 millimeter and the transverse is around 10 to 15 millimeter. So this tonsil starts to regress, that is it starts involuting after puberty, and in the young adults the involution of the tonsil presents as plica triangularis. This plica triangularis is nothing but it is a mucosal fold stretched from the back of the palatoglossal arch down to the tongue. So as the age advances, this regress as a mucosal fold and this fold is infiltrated by the lymphoid tissue. So that is named as plica triangularis. In this picture you can see the enlarged tonsil. So it is usually it is in the younger age group, school going child. So going to the boundaries of tonsillar fossa where the tonsil is located. Here this is the oral cavity open and this is the hard palate. Here in the hard palate, they showed the epithelium one side and the blood vessels on the other side. Now let's concentrate in the tonsils. So this is a tonsil, palatine tonsil. It has a two arch. This arch, the anterior arch, is the palatoglossal arch. And the posterior arch, this posterior arch, this arch is the palatopharyngeal arch. So this tonsil is lying in between the two arches. The apex is the soft palate. So this palatoglossal arch and the palatopharyngeal arch, they meet. This point is the apex, which is formed by the soft palate. And the base, this is a base. So the base of this palatine tonsil is formed by the dorsal surface of posterior 1/3 of the tongue. And the lateral wall is otherwise called tonsillar bed. It is mainly formed by one important muscle, superior constrictor muscle of pharynx.